What's up guys, and welcome back. Today in this video we're going to be doing my first book review of 2018, and that is going to be Stephen King's Carrie. So previously last year I did my review for the book It, and I found love with Stephen King's novels. I read It, The Dark Tower 1, 2 and 3, and I just thought the best idea would just to go back to the start of his entire book history and start from the beginning, so that's what I did. Carrie was the first novel he actually got published. It was made in 1974, I believe. It's been adapted into at least 3 movies, I think. There's the original by Brian De Palma in the 76 maybe, and then it was remade in 2013, and I think in between that point there was a sequel or a reboot as well in the 90s. So the first thing to notice with Carrie is that I did actually watch the movie first, so I kind of knew the gist of the story and what was going to happen. So I really wish that I'd read the book first, just because I'm a bit of a purist. I like to read the source before I read the adaptations, but it came out in 76, so I've had 30 years to read it and I haven't. So this is one of King's shortest novels actually. It's only around 240 to 250 pages, which is a big relief after just coming off reading It, which was 1,400 plus. So I got through this in maybe 4 or 5 days. So the basic premise of Carrie is that she's a young girl in school who comes from a very, very religious background, and her mother is very abusive, and when she gets out of the house and gets to school, she actually gets bullied there a lot, so she doesn't have the best upbringing. And what she comes to learn during moments of stress, there's one bad moment for Carrie in the very beginning of the book where things happen to her. It basically sparks telekinesis within her. She realizes she has the powers to move things with her mind. Now the thing that surprised me about this book is the way that it's told. It's actually told through a variety of different viewpoints. I thought it was just going to be straightforward, like going between the characters, but it actually skips ahead in time, and it's told through the points of like research articles and like newspaper articles and novels which are written after the events of the very eventful prom scene which happened in the movies, which everyone knows is pretty much the most iconic thing about Carrie. So reading the book, you actually find out that something bad is going to happen very soon in the book, and they do mention the prom. So from the very beginning of the book, you're kind of interested in what's going to happen, and Stephen King does that magnificently in this book. Like with it, it gives you just the right amount of details every few pages about something that happens in the future that you want to know what's happening, so he keeps you on the hook. So if you're a teenage girl and you're being pushed to the edge basically every single day by not only your parents but the kids in school as well, and you have the powers to move things with your mind, at some point something's going to snap and you're going to use those powers, and that happens in this. So with Carrie being the main character in the film, there are also a lot of other characters that are introduced. Considering this is a 250 page book, there's not that much room to flesh out the characters, but I think King does just about a good enough job of fleshing out the characters to make the narrative work. One thing King is good at doing is making bully characters. Obviously we've seen Henry Bowers in It, and in this one there's no different. We get the character Chris Hodgson, which is a female bully who basically gives Carrie the most brunt of the force of the bullying in the film, and her boyfriend as well is involved with. If you remember in the original film, the boyfriend was actually played by John Travolta. Now I don't want to make this into a comparison to the book to the film, but there are quite a few differences which I thought was quite interesting, obviously because I'd read the book after the film, so we get to see more in the book how Carrie actually starts testing her powers throughout the story, as she begins to improve her telekinesis by doing certain things, by first off like moving books around the house and then like stopping her mum from attacking her and stuff like that. So we get more of a sense of her building her powers in the book. While a lot of King's books are basically thrillers and horrors, this one isn't that much of a thriller horror. It's more of a tragedy story. One of the girls who's involved with the initial bullying, Sue Snell, she decides that she wants to help Carrie after what's happened to her, and she gets her boyfriend Tommy Ross to take her to the prom. And it's just a train wreck in motion, because one, if you've seen the film you know what's going to happen, and from the news articles and all these research things which actually go into a lot of the telekinesis and where Carrie gets her powers from, which is an interesting new take. It gives you more of a sense of why she has these powers and how she gets. So this girl who pretty much believes she has no chance in getting this guy Tommy Ross, who's like a popular guy in school, she gets to go to the prom with him, and from that point onwards you just feel like so bad for her because you know what's happening, but at the same time like you want things to work out for her because she's having like an actual really good night until the things that happen, and it's just a train wreck to watch and read because you know what's going to happen, but at the same time you wish there's a chance that things would actually work out. Now you think that the girl with the telekinesis who causes carnage in this story is the monster of the film, but it's actually not. The true monster in this is the bullies, and basically her mother is the one who causes all of this when you think about it. She abuses her, she like locks her in a closet and stuff like that, and it's just, if these things didn't happen to her, things would have worked out and changed for the better in the future, but all of these things combined just creates the disaster that happens. Carrie White isn't a bad person. She does have some like dubious thoughts and methods throughout the book, but at the same time it's all been brought on her by her parents, so I thought that was kind of interesting how she's not actually the monster of the story, and it's kind of a social message or a warning. So if you read this book, it's kind of like a message of like, don't bully someone or bad shit could happen. So when we get to the actual final conclusion of the big event that happens, it's told in a lot of different ways. You get to where it's just about to happen, and then it kind of goes to different perspectives of the whole night, and I thought that was really cool. Like, you got like people in the audience's point of views of what happened, and then you get what's happening with someone else's perspective, and then Carrie, so you kind of get loads of different perspectives of how people are seeing the event, which I thought was really interesting. As for the event itself, it was pretty badass. I think it's a lot more happens in the book than it happens in the film, the 1970 version anyway. I've not seen the remake, but I was pretty satisfied with what happened and how it all went down, and the ending was slightly different as well to the film, but I thought it was quite a satisfying conclusion. Being as this was King's first novel, I think he knocked it out of the park for showing what he's capable of. So yeah, that was my short review on Carrie. I really enjoyed the book. I don't really do ratings, but for a first novel, yeah, it was really good. So I hope you enjoyed this review. This is my first Stephen King in order review, so I'm going to be doing Salem's Lot next. I've just started reading that, so I hope you enjoyed this. Have you read Carrie? Let me know your thoughts on it. Did you prefer the film or the book, or do you prefer the original film or the remake? Let me know what you liked about the book or what you didn't like about the book, and let me know your favourite Stephen King novel, and I guess I will see you very soon in the next video.